Welcome to the Indie Film Hustle Podcast, episode number 204. Get busy living or get busy dying. Red Redding, Shawshank Redemption.
Broadcasting from the back alley in Hollywood, it's the Indie Film Hustle Podcast, where we show you how to survive and thrive as an indie filmmaker in the jungles of the film biz. And here's your host, Alex Ferrari.
Welcome, my Indie Film Hustlers, to another episode of the Indie Film Hustle Podcast. I am your humble host, Alex Ferrari. Today's show is sponsored by Video Blocks. Now, guys, when I was shooting my show for Legendary Pictures, and I did that 96 pages in 4 days, I actually got into post and we used a lot of stock footage, stock sounds, and even some graphics from Video Blocks. They are an amazing resource. With your membership, you are granted the rights to use that footage forever, in perpetuity, on any projects you want to. So if you want to try a 7-day free trial, and by the way, anything you download during those 7 days is yours to keep. And if you decide to stay, you get 84% off the yearly membership. It is well worth it, guys. Trust me, if you do a lot of production, it is something you really need. So just head over to videoblocks.com/hustle. So today's episode is going to be a special one, guys, because I'm here to ask you one question and one question only to two kind of people listening to this podcast right now. To my filmmakers, why do you want to be a filmmaker? And to my screenwriters, why do you want to be a screenwriter? Answering this question will set you up for your entire career. Because if you don't understand why you want to be a filmmaker or a screenwriter or tell stories, or even why you want to walk down this path, this very difficult path, I think that you have to really be honest with yourself and ask this simple question: why do I want to do this? And I'm not trying to dissuade anybody. I just want you, because if you're listening to this podcast and you're following what we do at Indie Film Hustle, that means there's something inside of you. There's something inside of you saying that I want to do this. But I want you to have a very clear idea of why you're doing it. Is it for fame? Is it for money? Is it for respect? Is it because I think it's cool? Because all of those are not going to be good reasons, by the way. You will get destroyed in this industry if you think you're going to get famous, you're going to be rich, you're going to have a ton of respect, accolades. People, I hope people like me. That's not why you should be in this business. In my example, and believe me, I've tried to leave the business at least 3 or 4 times in the course of the last 25 years. Okay. And I actually left the business on the last jump for a while, but I was miserable. And I still had my foot in it, but I was miserable doing something else, just miserable. And I only became content with myself when I came back. I only became happy again when I came back and opened up Indie Film Hustle and started directing again and started doing more work again. But it's a tough journey. And the reason I want you to understand how important this question is, well, let me ask you this. Do you have something inside of you that doesn't let you sleep at night? Is doing this, being a filmmaker, being a screenwriter, something that just keeps you restless inside, that you can't see yourself doing anything else but doing this? If those answers are yes, then you are on the right path. But you really need to figure out as early as you can. It took me a long time to figure it out, but you really got to figure out what you want out of this journey, what you're expecting out of this journey. Are you doing it because of an outcome, or are you doing it because you love to do it? Is your goal to get festival awards or anything like that? Or is it because you just want to make the art, make the film, write the screenplay that gets picked up and turned into a big movie? Just answer that question, because that answer is what's going to drive you and keep that grind and keep that hustle going. Because if you understand the end, you understand the why you do what you do, then you will be able to keep on hustling. And if you don't know the answer right away, that's okay. It's all right. Learn along the way, figure it out along the way. But I just wanted to plant the seed now for you to start thinking about that question on your journey. Because look, at the beginning of it, you're not going to figure it out. At the very beginning of your career, you're not going to get it. Maybe you will. Maybe you're much better and much more ahead of the game than I was when I was 20 or when I was 19 when I started this journey. Okay? But at least start thinking about it as you are discovering the reason why you're doing this. It took me years to figure out what that why was. But I had something so deep inside of me, so hard, like it just would not let me sleep. It doesn't let me rest, that I had to keep going. I had no choice in the matter. The drive was so strong that I didn't have a choice, honestly, in the matter. I just didn't have a choice. And the why I figured out along the way. And maybe you who are listening right now have that drive, that same drive. Now, that drive, if it's alive after you've been doing it for 10 or 15 years, is the drive that's going to keep you going for the next 15 or 20. And you should not give up. And you should keep going. You need to find the reason why you do this and keep and clarify it so clearly as soon as you can. Because if you are stuck, and I'm talking now to all the guys, and believe me, I was this guy. I was the angry editor, the angry post supervisor, watching other films come through my doors. And I'm being really honest here, guys. And I would be angry because I'm like, why did that MF, why did that mother get $1 million and I didn't? Why did that person get a series? Why is that person directing television and I'm not? And I was so angry. And it would eat me up alive. But then at the same time, the passion kept me going. So I was fighting within myself of how to, I love this business, but I'm so pissed that I'm not where I want to be. And that held me back for so long and for so many years. And guys, I'm being real honest here. And this is, as almost as honest as episode 88, where I just ripped into everything and everybody. But I just felt that this is something I've seen so much. And I think this episode could do some real good in the world and real good to the tribe, because understanding why you're doing this is so important. You have to be clear about why you want to go on this journey. Why do you want to do this endeavor? And you have to be brutally honest with yourself about why you're doing this. Because as I've said in over 200 episodes now of this podcast, this shit is tough. It will bring you to your fucking knees, but it doesn't have to. If you love what you're doing and you love the grind and you've got that answer, that why answered, then nothing hurts you and you could just keep going. You love the journey. You love the grind, the daily grind, because at the end, you know why you're doing this and you've got your goal. You got the reason why you're going to just keep going and going, and you're going to fall and you're going to fail, but you're going to keep going. And that's when you've succeeded. Because if you can make it in this business for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and enjoy your journey, regardless of where you make it in the business, regardless, you could shoot for the stars, you could shoot for the moon. And, I have very ambitious things I want to do in my directing career. But regardless of where this path takes me, I'm going to enjoy the journey and I'm going to enjoy the daily grind of what I do every day. But I understand, and only in recent years, and honestly in the last year or so, I finally discovered my why. It took me over 20 years to figure it out. But why I want to do this, why I want to keep going. And I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel for myself. And I know that there's a lot of people listening right now, a lot of filmmakers, a lot of screenwriters, a lot of artists who are on this conveyor belt of this business where you have to do it and you're being driven to do it. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. And now back to the show. But you're upset that you're doing it. Or you're just like, I don't know, I'm not angry. I just don't know where I want to go. And I'm not getting to where I want to be and all this kind of BS. If you answer the question, why am I doing this? But when you find out that why, I think one of the keys is, and this is just something I've discovered, and maybe it will help you. But when you're going to do your art, if you do your art in a selfish manner, if you make your film in a selfish manner, if you write your screenplay in a selfish manner, I feel that it doesn't go as far as if you make something for an audience. You serve an audience. You serve others with your work and try to bring something to them, whether that be thrills in a thriller or horror movie, whether that be comedy, make them laugh, whether that might be inspiration in a drama or a documentary that makes them think, or a funny little movie about an actress who's trying to make it in Hollywood like I did. Maybe that helped some actors along the way. Maybe that helped some filmmakers along the way. Being conscious of the kind of work you're doing and why that work is being done is so important on your path. And I'm not saying that you don't have to think about money. I'm not saying you don't have to think about return on investment or ROI. All of that stuff is included in the why. But understanding that question is so important on your journey. And I just wanted to, again, shine a light on this question for you, the tribe, because it will change the way you do things when you understand why you're doing things. And I've said this before in other episodes, but it's worth saying again, that you never know what impact your work, your story, your ideas will have on another human being on this planet. It is your responsibility as an artist to get your message out into the world and help this world in whichever way your story can. Make them laugh, make them cry, make them think. I hope this makes sense to you guys, and I hope you haven't wasted your time listening to this episode. I just wanted it. It's something that came to me. I wanted it. It just came to my head. I was like, you know what? This is something that I've been dealing with, and I'm going to share it with the tribe and see if it helps anybody out there. So do me a favor. If this episode has done anything for you, if it's made you think in any which way possible, do me a favor. Email me at ifhsubmissions@gmail.com and let me know. Or better yet, go to filmmakingpodcast.com and leave a review on iTunes and let me know there how this episode helped you or didn't help you. And I want to end this episode with a quote from one of my favorite films of all time. And this is from Andy Dufresne from The Shawshank Redemption. Remember, Red, hope is a good thing. Maybe the best of things. No good thing ever dies. Keep that hustle going. Keep that dream alive. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Indie Film Hustle podcast at indiefilmhustle.com. That's INDIEFILMHUSTLE.com.